Do you draw stubble dots on your face?
What? No. The Lego Movie 2, the second part, was honestly kind of a letdown for me. I didn't think the film was bad per se, but it also doesn't hold a candle to the first one, or to Lego Batman for that matter. Now, admittedly, like all sequels to great films, the Lego Movie 2 had some pretty big shoes to fill, and of course it's unreasonable to expect those shoes to be filled 100%. If you'll recall, I thought that the original Lego Movie was basically a perfect family film. For a more detailed analysis of why, you can check out the review with this link up in the corner. The biggest hurdle to making a sequel to that movie in particular was always going to be what to do about the third act reveal that everything occurring in the story up till that point was just part of a child's imagination as he plays with his father's Lego and functions as a metaphor for the two's damaged relationship.
If the construction guy said something to President Business, what would he say?
You can't really expect to top a twist like that, and you definitely can't put it back in the box once it's out there either, so the Lego Movie 2 naturally decides to take the concept and run with it. They're not really attempting to hide the fact this time around that the conflict in the A-plot, wherein these Lego worlds are being invaded by Duplo, as teased at the end of the previous film, is all once again just a big metaphor for conflict erupting between the same kid and his younger sister, since again, this was all set up in the last movie. The problem, for me anyway, ends up being that because you already know going in what this is all supposed to represent on a meta level,
No, it did not.
it sort of has the opposite effect on this movie to what the twist had in the original. Rather than providing additional context and meaning behind the story, it makes the whole movie feel super predictable and honestly kind of boring.
What a twist!
I can't really get into specifics without talking about spoilers, which I'm not going to do, but it doesn't help that when they do try to pull a couple of big twists in the third act, the first one kinda left me scratching my head saying, wait, that was supposed to be a secret? I thought we already knew that. While the second one made a whole bunch of previous events from earlier on in the film not make a ton of sense in retrospect. The Lego Movie 2 isn't totally devoid of meaning, however. It's telling a perfectly serviceable story about staying true to yourself and the power of friendship and love, etc. And all of that stuff is fine, but it's dealt with in an extremely heavy-handed manner, and it just doesn't feel as new, fresh, or clever as anything in the first one.
I could change my form to something else if this makes you uncomfortable. Hey guys.
No, go back. The horse was much more palatable.
Very well, I shall show my true form.
Okay, take the form of something else.
I'm General Mayhem.
General Disarray.
I also found it kind of annoying how many musical numbers were included in this movie.
Subject her to catchy pop music.
Oh no, are we in a musical?
Since none of them have any real point relating to its story or themes. Again, unlike Everything is Awesome from the first movie, which served simultaneously as an introduction to this Lego world in addition to being a critique of our own. Aside from the story not being as strong this time around, I was also pretty disappointed by how few of the jokes were landing for me, especially since the Lego Movie 2 was written by Phil Lord and Chris Miller, the same guys who wrote and directed the first one. Most of the funniest moments in the film stem from the novelty of Chris Pratt pulling double duty this time as both Emmett Brakowski and a new character named Rex Dangerfest, a parody of Chris Pratt himself and the various roles that he's played in other movies. A lot of the interactions between these two were pretty funny, and the voice that Pratt does for Rex is just hilarious in and of itself.
You don't want to go anywhere near the Sistar system. It's ruled by an alien queen.
Unfortunately, I can't really say the same for the rest of the returning cast, which the movie doesn't seem to have any idea what to do with apart from Lucy, who serves as the audience surrogate this time around in place of Emmett, who spends most of the runtime removed from the main story.
Lucy! And all of the other people.
Guys, I really hate that I'm being kind of a Debbie Downer on this movie. I went in wanting and honestly kind of expecting to really like it. I don't think anybody involved with the film was phoning it in, just that their efforts, however well-intentioned, suffer immensely in comparison to the first film. And that's not entirely fair, since judged purely on its own merits, there isn't a whole lot actually wrong with this movie, but at the same time, it's also totally fair, since this is a direct sequel and continuation of that movie, so you can't help but draw comparisons. To sum up, I think the Lego Movie 2 is one of the most sequel-y sequels I've seen in a while. It's fine. Definitely not some great cinematic abomination like a few other sequels I could think of, but it sure won't be setting the world on fire the same way the first one did. Check it out if you feel so inclined, just don't expect to catch lightning in a bottle a second time. But what did you think of the Lego Movie 2? Leave a comment down below letting me know your thoughts on the movie, and if you like this video, help me out by hitting the like button, subscribing if you're new, and ringing the bell to stay up to date on future releases. In the meantime, check out some of these other videos I've got up on my channel, and as always, thanks very much to all of you for watching, and take care.